He's capable. He's adventurous. He has a razor-sharp wit and more dedication than a whole army. I didn't say his name, but he popped in your mind, didn't he? Obviously, I'm talking about Luigi. Ah, Luigi. I'm not gonna lie, I like this brother more than Mario. Not that I hate the man in red, Luigi would definitely kill me if I did. But I really relate to the clumsy, anxious, accident-prone younger brother more than the capable everyman. Luigi made his first debut only a couple years after the man himself, in 1983's Mario Bros., and since then has appeared in pretty much just as many games as his brother. And just like Mario, has undergone a lot of changes. Which leads us to today's question. When did Luigi become so cowardly? This was probably the most defining trait about the man in green. So much so, there's an entire series of puzzle horror fishing games dedicated to it. Luigi's Mansion is almost entirely about seeing him get tortured and antagonized by the spirits of those once presumed living. Maybe not Luigi's Mansion, the game, but the rest of the series has quickly become about exactly that. But this wasn't always his personality, and this isn't even the first game to feature this personality. Technically, Paper Mario from the previous year let you read Luigi's secret diary, and among other comments he makes, he mentions a fear of ghosts on the second page. This is the very first time in a game that we get to see this side of Luigi. But honestly, we really didn't get many other chances to explore a character like this in the past. Mario games aren't known for being absurdly wordy. The more text-heavy ones prior to this didn't include Luigi in much of them. Usually he'd just cameo at the end of the game, or just never appear. So what was Luigi's personality prior to this? This is gonna hurt. Well, 1986's Super Mario Bros. Peachy Hime Kyushu Kyushu. I always want to add another S sound. Can't. So close. So close. So what was Luigi's personality prior to all this? Well, 1986's Super Mario Bros. Peachy Hime Kyushu Daisaku-sen. How many times did I try to say that? Put that number on the screen. How many takes did that take? Put that number on the screen. On account of the fact that it was the first animated film about the characters. It was released the year after the brothers' first big adventure. They got to go full ham, giving the character a personality. I don't like it. Luigi is greedy, cynical, and rather down-to-earth, contrasting greatly with the more adventurous up-and-at of Mario. The games themselves contain next to no information about either brother, and that was never the point of these games. Who needs plot? It's all about pilfering them quarters. But Super Mario Bros., by virtue of being a home release on a console that exploded in popularity, got a ton of publicity, lots of merchandise, promotional material. In a similar vein to Toei's Mario anime film, DeK Animation, the creators of Ulysses 31 and Inspector Gadget, got to work on a number of video game related shows, and the first of which was Super Mario Bros.
Get out of here. Washington didn't sleep here.
Man, I still can't get over how perfect Danny Wells and the Super Show really is. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show was a made-for-syndication television series, half live-action, half animated, produced as cheaply as humanly possible, much like literally everything else then-owner Andy Hayward produced. DeK approached Nintendo first about producing a Mario cartoon, explaining that the video games themselves were colorful, imaginative, hip, and more than a little bizarre, in the best sense. And that the sparse characterization in these games would give them plenty of room to get creative with the characters. Nintendo turned down this idea. But after some coercion, Nintendo of America agreed to licensing the brothers' likenesses to a standard 65-episode run. I should note they also licensed The Legend of Zelda. On Fridays, the episodes were Zelda. Or was it Saturdays? There was like 1 or 2 Zelda episodes a week. The rest of it was Mario. Unrelated. Nintendo of America couldn't keep in continual contact with their Japanese owners due to the infrastructure at the time, so they had to rely on good faith to determine the best course of action for giving the DeK cartoon direction. Ultimately, things seemed to work out in DeK's favor. Employees had nothing but praise for Nintendo of America, citing them as being highly professional and willing to help provide some initial direction while letting the company run loose with pop cultural parody. The show was insanely popular and attracted the attention of a vast number of late 80s celebrities. The likes of Cyndi Lauper, Ernie Hudson, Elvira, Sergeant Slaughter, all appeared in the show's live-action segments. But we're starting to lose track of the topic. This was the first piece of Mario media to give both brothers their current personalities. In the Super Show, Mario was impulsive, a little hot-headed, but hardworking and dedicated to saving the day. Whereas Luigi was a bit more cautious, less willing to take risks, and was shown to be afraid of many of the hazards in his workplace. This bleeds into the live-action bits as well. Luigi's the neater of the two and quicker to apologize if something goes wrong or if their wacky antics get in the way of their celebrity guest. But regardless, this has to be the first instance of Luigi's cowardice, right? I mean, I said it myself. This was the first piece of Mario media that gave both brothers their current personalities. Not so fast. There is a single piece of media that includes only Luigi, and that gives us some Luigi lore. And what was that, you ask?
Something's coming up the plumbing, poor Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind. Fireflies, cheaper shikes, they're all coming out the pipes. Mario, where are you?
In the back half of 1983, the Mario Brothers came to Atari consoles. The 26th version of Mario Brothers released in July, and the more graphically impressive and arcade-accurate 5200 port launched that December. But note, the only character we get to learn about here is Luigi, terrified of the situation he's found himself in. Fun fact, Mario Brothers received a lot of publicity at the time because this was Nintendo's first two-player simultaneous game. This wasn't the first one in arcades. There were the likes of Pong and Joust, but Nintendo had just produced the quarter-munching Donkey Kong, and Mario was the star of that. I mean, they did rename him from Jumpman, but that's beside the point. Luigi became the star of all the marketing for Mario Brothers, with Nintendo working with Atari and whatever ad company that made this wonderful commercial. I can't find that information, I think it's lost. To produce this ad, featuring Luigi as the center of attention. And seeing that this is an American ad for a Nintendo game on an American console, Atari, it isn't a stretch to think that Nintendo of America looked to this ad for inspiration when helping Deke work on the Super Show. And while Luigi's cowardly personality in Luigi's Mansion was mostly decided on since Mario is the more brave of the two, it isn't out of the question to think that Nintendo of Japan had seen some of the Super Show within the 11-year interim between the original run and the start of development of Luigi's Mansion, nor is it out of the question to think that Nintendo of America, in 1989, looked at the ad released 6 years prior for inspiration for a fledgling animated series. But hey, there's no actual set-in-stone information concerning the three, so I might just be pulling all this from nowhere. But regardless, Atari's Mario Brothers was the first piece of Mario media that gave us a frightened, cowardly Luigi. And the character just hasn't been the same ever since. Thank you, whatever advertising company decided on this, and thank you, whoever is portraying Luigi in this commercial specifically. You might be the reason Luigi's Mansion 3 exists. And thank you, Luigi, for having a history interesting enough to make nearly a 10-minute video about it. Well, that was a good use of my time. Let's see what's next on the Nintendo. It's for the greater good. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Patreon and social media links are in the description.